Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from City Magazine, covering arts and culture in Rochester and the Finger Lakes since 1971. The online City calendar covers everything from art exhibits to dining experiences. More at roccitymag.com. And One World Goods, a fair trade gift shop in Pittsford Plaza, offering handcrafted gifts and foods from artisans around the world, including holiday decor, jewelry, and winter knits. Open 7 days a week for holiday shopping. More at oneworldgoods.org.
From WXXI News, this is Connections. I'm Evan Dawson. What is it that makes a movie a Christmas movie or a holiday movie? Somebody just sent me a note that Gremlins is a Christmas movie. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's whatever feels seasonally appropriate. It is the season, as they say. Soon you're going to be seeing holiday films taking over screens if you haven't already. It's a Wonderful Life, the classics, or 80s and 90s movies like Christmas Story or Home Alone. The love them or hate them Hallmark Christmas movies. There's so much to watch. And we'll even debate questions like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? By the way, actor Bruce Willis had something to say about that. It was a number of years ago, and he had to get it off his chest. Here's what the star of Die Hard says about this.
Now, please listen very carefully. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie.
All right, so, I mean, is that the final word? I don't know if he gets to decide on this. What is your favorite holiday movie, favorite Christmas movie? What gives a seasonal film staying power? And what are the worst ones out there? Why does Frosty say happy birthday? Is he talking about himself, or is he talking about Jesus, or is he talking about something else? We're going to try to figure all of it out with Cielo Ornelas McFarlane, a local cinephile and a visual artist who is going to be the judge and jury on the Bruce Willis story. Yes. Welcome back. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Across the table, hello, Scott Poukas, Communications Director for the Little Theatre.
Hi. Gremlins, by the way, is a Christmas movie.
Gremlins?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I haven't seen, I think I saw it as a kid. I have not seen it in years. It's around, so it all happens around Christmas? Is that what happens with the Gremlins? Okay. That's insane. That one, I don't know if I agree with that one. Jared Case, curator of film exhibitions for the Dryden Theater at the George Eastman Museum. Gremlins is a Christmas movie?
Yeah, of course it is. We've shown it in our holiday program.
Stripe, did he wear like a Christmas bow or something?
They were wearing hats, and there was all the garland, the Christmas tree, of course.
I don't
in
remember
the house.
that.
Gizmo's a Christmas present.
Exactly.
Gizmo's a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gremlins, Christmas movie. Now, you had a reaction when you heard Bruce Willis saying that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
That's so silly. Of
Why
course
is he
it's
wrong?
a Christmas movie. It happens on Christmas Eve. And by that logic, then Jingle All the Way isn't a Christmas movie. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Like, you can't just say that. Give me both.
Jingle All the Way is a special category of, I think it's an anti-Christmas. It's more like proof that the devil actually has influence in society. It's that bad, I think.
Wow. I feel really attacked right now.
You like Jingle All the Way?
I love Jingle All the
Oh my
Way, and I
gosh.
only watched it for the first time like 3 years ago, and I watched it with my family, and I was the only one who liked it.
Well, somebody recently posted, it's got the worst zoom in movie history.
I know exactly what they're talking
You know,
about.
yeah. Like, did you get the doll? And they zoom into Arnold.
It's comedic. It's intentional.
It's hackish. It would get a C+ at best from an 8th grade project. Okay, so listeners, we want to hear from you. Send us notes, your favorites, your not favorites. Love to hate them, hate to love them, everything in between. It's connections@wxxi.org. We need a little burst of some lightness, and this hour we've got a great group to do it. Bruce Willis, right or wrong, Scott Poukas?
Oh, I think he just wanted to say it was a Bruce Willis
Yeah.
movie. He's wrong. I mean, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and we actually are showing Die Hard 2 as part of our little programming.
Now, come
as
on.
well, so.
Does Die Hard 2, Die Harder, right?
Yeah.
Did that also take place on Christmas?
Sure did.
Yes.
It did?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Because
so,
they're Christmas movies. It's a Christmas
because
series.
it's a Christmas series. Oh, man. So obviously you think Bruce Willis is wrong.
Yeah, I don't know that he was necessarily named as the person to decide what's a Christmas movie and what's not. But
Well, it's his movie.
yeah, well, or is it John McTiernan's movie?
Fair.
Yeah.
It's all of our movies. Movies belong to the public, and the public decides. Maybe the logic you're describing, Scott Pukas. So I have a Christmas music playlist, but it's really anything with the word Christmas in it. Like I've got Mike Doty's "I Hear the Bells" on there, and that's not a Christmas song.
Yeah, I'm very relaxed with my definition of a Christmas movie. Like if it gets me in the mood, in the spirit, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's a Christmas movie. I don't think we have to overthink this.
Okay, all right. I mean, is that the definition for you, Jared?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways we could overthink this. Getting familiar with rhetoric professors, anytime you mention something is something, it's worth talking about whether or not it is or not. But I guess I'm fairly loose too. The Christmas movies are a very sort of favorite sort of genre or subgenre for me, and I can find a lot to like in a lot of them. So there's lesser known favorites that I have, stuff that I've been trying to find 35 millimeter prints of. It's just not available that I'd love to show in the theater. So, I mean, the fact that, so beyond just taking place on Christmas Eve, it's about a man trying to get back to his family for that holiday. There are terrorists in the way of him doing that, but that is the ultimate goal, and that's he's reunited with his family, or at least with his wife by the end. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, nothing says Christmas to me like a man crawling barefoot over broken glass, right? That's it. That's Christmas.
The glass.
Wow.
That was good.
Okay. While I've got the floor, before we turn it over to listener picks, and our guests are going to have their picks too on the best end, we're going to say the worst, although apparently
Least best.
least best. Most terrible? No, you don't like that. Okay. So I had not seen the stop. What do you call that? The animation, the stop action animation,
Stop motion.
Stop motion. The Rudolph, which comes from the 60s.
Yeah.
The 60s. And now that we've got a 5-month-old, we're like, well, we better watch this. I'm like, because he's going to remember. But maybe he shouldn't remember, because it turns out it's one of the meanest movies I've ever seen. If I am a member of the disability community, I'm like, what are they saying here? Rudolph has a red nose. His father, Donner, is ashamed of him because his nose glows. Mm-hmm. The only nice person in the whole movie is Clarice, who is this other reindeer who's got a crush on Rudolph and doesn't mind his red nose. And Santa is awful. Santa's awful to everybody. He's awful to Rudolph. He only cares about Rudolph until he's useful. And he's awful to the elves who make this nice song, and he's like, ugh. And even Mrs. Claus is like, sorry for that guy. But I think we've got a couple of clips that we can play on just how awful people are. This is Santa being mean in Rudolph. Let's listen to what are we telling kids about Santa? Let's listen.
Great bouncing iceberg. Now, I'm sure it'll stop as soon as he grows up, Santa. Well, let's hope so if he wants to make the sleigh team someday. Donner, you should be ashamed of yourself. What a pity. He had a nice takeoff, too.
He tells Rudolph's father, you should be ashamed for having a child whose nose glows. And he had a nice takeoff to flying, but really you should feel shame for a physical, I'm not even sure it's a disability. I mean, it's an ability. But regardless, Santa is just, come on, Cielo. We got to get that is not a good with me. That Santa is awful.
Okay, I'm going to respect your disability rights reading of Rudolph because it is valid, and say that perhaps Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Reindeer fits maybe into the category of Christmas movies. It's not necessarily Christmassy in the spirit and the messaging, but it is, it's a Christmas movie by virtue of the setting, not necessarily the themes, perhaps.
I will say, I remembered that Bumbles Bounce. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's parts of that are imbued in me. I just was surprised going back. I mean, let's listen to Santa now being able to use Rudolph. Let's hear it. Santa changes his mind.
That nose of yours, that nose, that beautiful, wonderful nose.
Huh?
Rudolph, Christmas is not off, and you're going to lead my team.
Cool. Now that you're useful, I will show you a modicum of love. Yeah, I'm joking a little bit, but I don't know, Scott, come on. That was not a Christmassy feel from that Santa.
It's a little mean, but it's very whimsical too. And I do like to think after Christmas, Rudolph kind of gets his revenge, and like maybe there's some lore there too, some backstory that we aren't aware of. Where Rudolph, he kind of evens out the playing field. Who's to say? We don't know.
I don't know. Jared, can you defend Santa there?
Well, of course, yeah. So depiction is not endorsement. And once you start objectifying narratives and picking out pieces to isolate them from everything else, you're starting to miss the point of the entire narrative. And what Rudolph goes through is going up against a system that has decided to suppress him. And his differences are actually what make him a part of the community. So by the end of the film, everyone is happy and hopefully has learned a little bit more about accepting differences, which I think is a great message, not year round, not just at Christmas.
If it had been clear skies, they still would have hated Rudolph. That's the problem.
Somebody's got to be first.
They only found love for him if he could be useful to them. That is a problem. But I do like the idea that hopefully a lot of kids were watching this going, if I'm different, it's cool. And different is cool. The Island of Misfit Toys, you know, I mean, there was, I enjoyed a lot of it. It felt very, I watched it going, how long did this take to make this thing, by the way, right? The reindeers blink in that, and that's stop motion. That's a lot of time, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very inefficient. Okay, someone's going to send me an email saying that I'm being a Grinch. I don't think I'm being a Grinch. I actually had fun watching it, but I don't think it's a great message that you're only loved if you're useful. So that's mean Santa. Oh, by the way, you know who the only one person worse than Santa in that is Donner, Rudolph's dad, who like is ashamed of him for having a nose that glows. Donner. Careful, Donner. People like venison. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Let's go around the table. What are your favorite films? So you like everything. What is there anything that you don't like? I'm going to start there, Cielo.
Again, I feel so attacked.
No, I appreciate someone who is finding the good in things, and that's definitely you.
No, I have to say Gremlins is definitely like a classic. One of my mom's favorite Christmas movies for sure. And that's definitely, to me, I think that movie is so fun because it's set at Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie. It's got the themes about like belonging and love and acceptance, which make it a Christmas movie. But then it's also a really great baby's first horror movie because like the things that take place in that kitchen are crazy, and like the blood in the scene has to be green because if it was red, there's no way. So Gremlins is the best of all three Christmas worlds, because I would definitely say like horror, Christmas, and holiday movies are their own thing too, which is also really fun.
Okay, Scott Pukas.
Well, first of all, I will say we did just play Gremlins at the Little this Saturday, and there were kids there. There was a baby there. There was children. So, yeah, they got introduced to an interesting Christmas movie. I think maybe the parents forgot some things.
Well,
about
you might
Gremlins.
forget that one monologue about Santa.
That got a big guffaw from our crowd. We won't spoil what they say.
Santa being definitely real.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
But yeah, my favorite, I'm partial to Home Alone. Both of them, but I think I like the first one more just because it's nostalgic to me. It has shenanigans, which I like. When I think of, I was trying to, so for my letterbox, you could do your top 4, so Cielo knows. So I change it per season. So I was trying to think of my top 4 like holiday movies, and it was very difficult, but Home Alone, I put in that first spot.
Have you ever seen the Family Guy clip on if Home Alone had smart thieves?
I just saw that yesterday, actually.
It's one of the darkest things I think I've ever seen. But thank goodness they didn't, because Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, right, are the thieves. The voice of Kevin in Wonder Years. Yeah. I always wanted that Daniel Stern's voice just to stay disembodied, but of course he's been in a bunch of movies like City Slickers and others. But we've got, I want to play a clip of our own Patrick Hoskin talking to Macaulay Culkin when Macaulay Culkin was in town recently for a screening of Home Alone. This is a modern, I think, thing that movies are doing, which is you get something that's got some nostalgia. I think Chevy Chase was here a few years ago was he in town? Chevy Chase was in town maybe for Christmas Vacation. Well, Macaulay Culkin was here talking about Home Alone, and here's a clip of Patrick Hoskin talking to Macaulay Culkin.
I'm sure in 35 years, there's a lot of time to to have many experiences with it. I'm curious, as you're kind of revisiting it now, how you're feeling.
Well, I mean, it's evolved in a bunch of different ways. I guess, up front, it was like, oh, cool, it's this a big, amazing thing. It really took off in a way that I don't think anyone expected, and that was really neat. I mean, I was a pretty bright-eyed back then, like, I didn't, didn't know any better. I go, yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be. And then, I don't know, I think I spent some time kind of, I wouldn't say running away from it, but it was kind of a curse and a blessing for a while there. When you're kind of younger, it's kind of just one of those things where it's just, oh gosh, would you stop bringing up that silly Home Alone thing, that kind of stuff. But now that I'm older and now that I got kids of my own and stuff like that, and I show my kids the movie, it's a completely different animal. Now it's, I stand by it with a lot of pride, and I love how my kids love it, and they have no idea it's me in it. They sit there, they're like, oh, Kevin. I go, you like that Kevin kid? They go, yeah, you think he's handsome? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right, yeah, good. You kids have good taste. So it's kind of become a different kind of thing, and now I'm seeing it through a different kind of lens. It made me kind of very receptive to doing something like this, where I'm kind of sharing it with the world in that kind of way, with that kind of perspective. And I know I'm not the only person who has kids. I'm not the only one who's shown it to kids, and it's kind of nice to share that kind of perspective with people.
That's Macaulay Culkin talking to our Patrick Hoskin. We got one big fan. Well, no, I'm sorry. You said that was of course you love it. Come on, Cielo.
I mean, I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have the nostalgia glasses for it, but I definitely have seen it a couple times and was like, that's nice.
That's nice. Okay. Is it a good movie?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. But I mean, if you're talking about meanness and violence, setting a guy's hair on fire, hitting him in the face with a paint can. I don't know if Illinois has stand your ground laws, but I mean, you're really talking about a little kid putting all this violence on two adults.
There is a horror movie, by the way, called Better Watch Out, where it's a Christmas horror movie, and at one point they're like, we want to do the paint can from Home Alone and see what it is actually like, and it's a lot darker than the Home Alone scene.
Oh my gosh, Home Alone inspiring all these dark spin-offs. But Home Alone 2, Jared.
Yeah.
Come on.
I haven't even seen that
No
in so
family,
many years.
as bad as it is to go to Paris and leave your kid, no family's doing it twice. Come on. Right?
Well, I certainly would not.
Especially if you could run into someone like Donald Trump in New York City, which is who has a cameo in this movie. And whatever you think of his presidency, he's a horrible actor. He's come on, Cielo. He's terrible.
I wouldn't know. Haven't seen it.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Okay. Scott Pukas?
Yeah, he's not great. I feel Donner would probably do that with his kids, too.
Donner is probably the one. That's a good callback there. Did you like Home Alone 2?
I do like Home Alone 2, yeah. And maybe part of it is just I watched it as a kid. I think that does influence it. And and it's a movie you like to go back to. So you remember when you first saw it, and I think those feelings really, whether it's a good movie or not, I'm like, this is a Christmas movie. It's one I like to watch this time of year. Sure, maybe it has its flaws, but again, it's fun. I enjoy it. And yeah, you can't pay attention to like any plot holes and be like, would the parents actually be that incompetent? Would this keep happening? And it's like, you know what? It's movie logic. It happened and they go on an adventure. There's some feel good stuff in there. There's some heartwarming parts in it. So yeah, I'm a fan.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 hot takes from the host on this, and you guys can pull them apart here, okay? I think I'm old enough and secure enough to say this publicly now. I like Love Actually.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I'm good with it. And to me, it's a Christmas movie. Of course it's a Christmas movie. Come on, Jared?
Okay. I respect your
he doesn't
your
like Love
ability
Actually. Not a fan.
to grow into your adulthood.
But you
and
not a big
express.
fan of the movie.
Not a big fan, no.
Why? Your heart is jaundiced?
It's probably, yeah. It's just not something that feels as Christmassy to me. So certainly there's that whole Richard Curtis oeuvre. I would probably take Four Weddings and a Funeral over Love Actually, but
Is Four Weddings and a Funeral a Christmas movie?
No, but it's a Richard Curtis film.
Oh, I see. I see.
But I think it's fine. It certainly works. We've shown it as well. But it's not something that hits me in the same way. I don't return to it on a regular basis.
Love Actually, Scott, had period of time where it was like Nickelback. It's like, you can't admit you like it.
Was it like Nickelback?
I think it was almost to that level. Like, I would say it and people would be like, whoa, no. And so then, like, for years, I'd be like, yeah, it's Love Actually. But now I'm like, no, I'm good with it. I'm not good with Nickelback, but Love Actually, yes.
I think maybe it's problematic in parts, so that could be part of it.
I haven't seen it in a while, so where is it problematic? Remind me.
What is it? The secretary?
The prime minister whole
Yeah,
thing is,
yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole plot line's not
But
good.
I
The
also,
pornography aspect.
No, that's actually sweet. People meet on a porn set, and they're literally meeting each other on a porn set, but they're nervous to talk to each other and have a date in person after, being totally exposed because they're sex workers, but they're nervous in real life. I thought there was a sweetness to that, no?
Well, I just don't know if that's necessarily what people want in their Christmas movies.
Oh, I see.
I
Well,
see what you're saying. I
wouldn't
wonder.
take a 5-month-old.
I wonder about
Gremlins,
the
Love
TV
Actually.
cuts and how much is
Yeah.
actually in there.
Yeah, TV cuts. Like, is that even still a thing, though? I guess it must
Oh, yeah.
still be a thing.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So what else is problematic? I'm trying to remember. Probably something, but
Yeah, I watched it last winter. We played it at the Little. It was actually my first time watching it, which I did enjoy it. And maybe that was watching with a crowd, too, that was loving it and having fun helped sway me.
Can I cite you by name on that comment here? So our team member Julie Williams says fat shaming, and I think we're talking about Natalie, the prime minister's crush, right? Like,
Yeah.
who's like a very attractive woman, and she gets fat shamed, which is absurd. So okay, yeah, all right, okay, whatever.
But
do,
I think
do you
people-
like do you like Love Actually?
I haven't seen it. That's a blind spot for me.
Whoa. Okay, all right, there you go. I should never have admitted that. That was a mistake.
No.
You can always tell when producer Megan Mack has stepped out. She usually looks at me and she's like, stop what you're doing. Okay, I think the best Christmas movie ever is Klaus. I love Klaus. When my son was 6 is when it came out, and it's the first time I saw him cry at a movie. And it killed me. It just killed me. I mean, it was so beautiful. I love that movie. I like the music in the movie. Have you seen Klaus?
No.
Oh, my
No.
gosh. All right. Scott Pukas?
I don't think I have. I can't recall.
Jared?
No.
All right, I'm alone on this.
Put it on the
Somebody
list.
Put it on the
back
list.
me up, listeners. Klaus is outstanding. And in terms of the classics for me, the one I enjoy the most is Christmas Story. So
As you're talking about classics more than 40 years ago.
I haven't seen Christmas Story either.
you are a fan of Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, but I just watched that, Evan.
Oh my gosh, Christmas Story.
Christmas Story's
Guys-
definitely on the list.
Okay, guys, is it good?
I never really was that partial to it. Like, I watched it when I was younger and haven't revisited it. But I mean, it's beloved. People love it. Listen, you have to be proud with your takes. You gotta
Absolutely.
don't
Own
be
them.
ashamed of
I'm
your
not
movie
ashamed.
taste.
You have a right to be wrong. This
He's
country
just
is still free for
disappointed.
now.
Disappointed in us all.
Okay, Jared, how was Christmas Story?
I was more affected by the fact that you said a 40-year-old movie is a classic when we're showing It's a Wonderful Life, The Miracle
Yeah.
on 34th Street. We've got the 1938 Christmas Carol coming up this week at the Dryden.
Those are the classics.
Well,
When did Christmas Story come out? Was that in the 80s?
83.
83. Yeah. All right, 42 years. I mean, that's
Well,
if it was a wine, it would be definitely old.
or if it was a car.
If it was a car, it
would
would
be
be
classic.
it would be in real trouble. But is it a good movie to you?
It is a good movie, and I think that there's definitely certain aspects that leap from generation to generation. We're talking about Donner. We can also talk about Darren McGavin in there. As seeing things in your father from a son's point of view that sort of go from generation to generation. It's about growing into that. It's about looking at both the father and the son and understanding both aspects of it. So I do think that there is value in there.
Yeah, and any movie, well, maybe I was going to say any movie that's as quotable has to be good. But one of the reasons I'm concerned about where we're going with movies, and we've talked a lot about this with our guests this year, is that I think when we are not seeing movies together communally and we don't view movies as an event, we lose some of that cultural fabric that comes from the quotable movies of your era. So we're all, including Cielo, old enough to have grown up at a time where most of your contemporaries have movies that you can quote. But I don't know if you're 12 years old right now, if that's going to be true. And that worries me. Am I overly, is that, are you worried about that, Jared?
Yeah, absolutely. It's even in my family, which is if I had my way, it would be a family of cinephiles. They go their own ways, and they're aware of things, cultural objects, not necessarily through the entire of the object, but through clips that they get through social media. And not only are you taking it out of the context of the entire thing, but as you're exposed to those, you no longer have that surprise within watching the entire object. And I know that every time I try to get everybody together to watch a film, it's kind of like, oh, those guys are working, and it's not something my wife wants to watch, and it's getting them all together is so difficult.
Scott, I love the fact that what movies you can quote tells a lot about when you grew up.
Yeah.
And I am worried that future generations won't have that cultural tie.
Yeah, it's difficult. This is why I think both at the Little and Dryden we do like to show like past Christmas movies, past holiday ones, because when we show a repertory title, we have a large amount of people who are coming there watching it for the first time. Like no matter if it's Gremlins, even if that's a classic yet, we have like younger people, a lot of people who have not watched it. Dryden did Elf last year. I'm sure there was a number of people watching Elf for the first time.
We got love coming in for Elf from a number of people, including Julie Williams. Big fan
Elf
of
is fantastic, which I can't believe that's more than 2 decades old now.
Yeah.
Julie
2003.
Julie likes smiling. Smiling is her favorite. Julie knows that the 4 food groups are candy, candy cane, candy corn, and syrup. Very quotable.
Correct.
Very quotable. I mean, like we're missing out if we don't have that cultural tie. I mean, you knew what I was talking about with Elf there. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Elf up as like a modern classic. I would say like that's the most recent Christmas movie that has really like had a cultural impact. But I feel like that's also, like Bruce Willis was saying, the fact that it's a Will Ferrell film. It's the star power behind that, and also that's box office draw, right? That Will Ferrell was the lead. That made most of America want to go see Elf, right?
And that's got to be 20 years ago now?
It was 2003.
Yeah, I was a kid. I was
22
little.
years ago. 22 years ago. What is the best Christmas movie of the last 5 or 10 years? Are there any?
The Holdovers.
What was somebody mentioned Red One?
Don't talk to them.
I don't
Talk
know
to
what that
them.
is. I don't know what that is.
Good.
It's not a Christmas movie. It's a Dwayne the Rock Johnson movie.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, that's why I didn't know what it is.
Yeah.
But there are new Christmas movies. We have one that's playing this weekend at the Little called The Baltimoreans, which I like a lot.
The Baltimoreans?
The Baltimoreans. Yes, it's a very sweet movie. It's about an improv comedian.
It sounds sweet.
He chips his tooth on Christmas Eve, so he tries to find a dentist. He ends up going to his dentist, and he finds out that her plans are kind of ruined. So they end up spending Christmas Eve together, and they get into a little bit of tomfoolery. There's a pivotal scene that is at an improv show, which I enjoyed a lot. And it's just a sweet, it's kind of sad in parts. And like I mentioned before, The Holdovers came out 2 years ago. And that's a movie that I like to rewatch. And again, these aren't kids movies; they're both rated R. So they're, I think, in my head, they're new Christmas, could be Christmas classics, but they also aren't for the entire family. So they're different from other holiday movies.
What is the one? Dan Levy was in it. Kristen Stewart might have been in it. Julie Williams, are you remembering this one? Help me out with this one. That was like 5 years ago now. Am I crazy here?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it was called.
So you remember the movie. We got to get the title of this one. And this was a big in the LGBTQ Christmas genre, which is probably not a very big genre. What? Happiest Season.
Yes.
Okay, I like that one. And that's got to be like 5 years old, something like that.
I liked Happiest Season a lot.
5 years old.
But
That's right.
some of the romantic choices in that, I literally took my flip-flop off and threw it at the television.
So I haven't seen it. I saw it the week it came out. We actually talked about it. I haven't seen it. If I'm remembering, doesn't she picks the worst person to be with? And you're like, no.
I was so mad.
She picks this woman who's awful. Yeah, it was very upsetting. That's like the thing that I remember.
Just like in straight romances sometimes.
I know.
You're like, ugh, this guy? Oh,
how could you end up with this person? Well, look, we don't have to essentialize the LGBTQ community. They can make bad mistakes dating too.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. It's about time the movies reflect that. And Rob's saying that Hallmark has a new Christmas movie that includes the Buffalo Bills, a shot all over Buffalo with some players and the coach. Is that true?
Yeah.
True.
Oh, you didn't like it. Did you see it?
I didn't even seek it out.
Are you a Hallmark Christmas movie
No,
person,
I am not.
Joe?
My wife is, though.
Okay, but
Yeah.
why are you not? You never know what's going to happen in them. It's very, very edge of your seat.
You Sure, I can tell you're being facetious.
The rich
Yeah.
big city hedge fund person might not have their heart melted by the small town charm.
I am so annoyed sometimes by cinematic style, especially with television movies. Like the static shots and the over the shoulders and the fact there's no coverage, the consistent lighting through everything so you can see is just it grates on me as I'm watching it. There's no sort of craft to the filmmaking. So I think that's actually probably the thing that I get annoyed most with those.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking about the craft of filmmaking this morning, watching a clip, as a lot of people are doing right now, of Rob Reiner talking about Princess Bride. And my God, you talk about a terrible set of news. Whatever your politics, Rob Reiner did make some real classics. And there's this clip of him talking about Princess Bride. And they said the scene that he hated most of any movie he ever shot was the scene where Wesley and Robin Wright's character, so Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright, they're falling down the hill. You know, that ridiculous scene. But when the wide shot, this long pan where you see her running, you see sun glare on the lens of the camera. And Rob Reiner's like, I can't get over this. It takes you out of the movie. And I'm like, well, it's like a half a second shot. And he's still, the rest of his life, he was hung up on that. So great filmmakers care about the details. And what you're saying in Hallmark is it looks like you're on a film set the whole time?
Yeah,
With the lighting and everything?
especially when you're watching it in HD. It's just like, ugh.
Okay. Are you a Hallmark fan, Scott?
They're comfort movies. Like I have family that love them, and they're not good movies, but it is like fun to watch them with a group. And I'm probably very annoying because I point out stuff like, oh, New York City, that doesn't look like New York City at all.
Yeah,
That's clearly Vancouver or
exactly.
some other place. But they're comfort movies. People like to just binge through them, and I think there's value in that. And, you know, I never want to. I don't want to look down at something that people enjoy. And again, I don't think anyone's watching them and say, like, this is art. This is a movie that is prime filmmaking. It's just, they are what they are, which is comfort films, and people have a good time with them.
I want to watch a movie where small town America is depicted as everyone incredibly good looking in a LL Bean catalog, which probably doesn't even exist anymore. There's a dated reference. Do you even know what an LL Bean catalog
Yeah,
is?
I just got one the other day.
Oh,
Come
right.
on.
I mean, are you a Hallmark fan?
I honestly respect to the Hallmark Channel for creating a trope, right? I don't think I've ever actually seen a Hallmark movie on the Hallmark Channel, and I wouldn't know how to access that at this point in the current climate of streaming.
You don't know how to access it.
But my beloved former roommate, Jen, definitely loves those. So I have seen quite a few, like, where I would walk past in the living room and then be like, now, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Let me sit down and watch this Vanessa Hudgens Princess Switch Christmas situation. I think there's 3 or 4 of those now.
There's 3.
And
Jess.
there was like the Dolly Parton one. I think that was Netflix. That was terrible, but I did sit and watch it. And recently on Disney Plus, they just put out a very Jonas Christmas movie.
Oh gosh.
I did enjoy it, and I'm not even a Jonas Brothers fan. You know, I think last time I was on, I said it, and I'll say it again: must a movie be good?
Some of the Hallmark ones are wild. There's one where a nutcracker turns into a real human, and it is surreal
Love
and
that.
a little
Is it a
unhinged.
horror movie?
It sounds like it
I'm
maybe
serious.
should be.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's supposed to have that whimsical charm, but it's a little unsettling. It is kind of horror movie-esque.
Yeah, Hot Frosty last year. I loved Hot Frosty. A snowman comes to life and becomes a beautiful naked man, but he's also kind of a child, so it's like the Born Sexy Yesterday trope. It's great. And like Craig Robinson is in it as like a bumbling sheriff. It's fun.
Okay, you love horror movies. Why hasn't there been a counterpart to the Hallmark series where it's like that same cheesy Hallmark theme, but they become horror movies?
Oh, there definitely is.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I should have looked this up. Of course. there
Yeah,
is.
Silent Night, Deadly Night remake is
oh,
out
boy.
right now in theaters.
Okay. I'm sorry I
Gotta
asked.
go
actually.
see it.
I'm sorry I asked.
I don't recommend the original. There's a lot of topless women being murdered in the original.
All right, before I get to some feedback from listeners, oh gosh. Thank you though, Sheila. I did. That's helpful. Why does Frosty in the animated classic say "Happy Birthday," Sheila?
obviously to honor Jesus.
I would have thought so, but I'm looking like when I looked this up, that's not as clear. Okay, what did you think, Scott Pukas? Why is he saying happy birthday?
That's what I thought too, but maybe that's just a catchphrase he's trying out. He just wishes he's doing a bit. He wishes people happy birthday.
Okay, yeah, that's a much worse answer. Jared,
Happy birthday to me. That's what it is.
that actually is what the filmmaker
makes
said.
sense.
Every time he's reborn, it's a new birthday. So, but nobody says happy birthday to themselves.
Well, you should start that.
Be more positive and self-affirming. Come on.
Julie does say leave Dolly alone, and I'm with you there. Dolly Parton should be left alone.
Hey, I didn't say she was bad.
And on YouTube, this is what we're talking about with being able to quote movies. Listener says, at a restaurant brunch, my then 5 or 6 year old, upon handing the waitress the tab and the payment, looked up and said, "Keep the change, you filthy animal." Fortunately, she had seen the film. I mean, if I would have said keep the change, you would have completed the phrase.
Yeah.
If I say yippee-ki-yay, don't complete the phrase, but you all could do it.
We can use the button.
Oh, you want to use the dump button?
Yeah.
No.
No,
We're
no,
not going to make Rob do it. You all know in your brain what I just said there. In Elf, there's a million quotable lines. Quotable lines are good. They connect us. They ground us. I mean, that's a helpful thing.
And you mentioned Rob Reiner movies. I mean, talk about quotable lines. Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally. Like,
the
those
most.
are the quotable lines.
I mean, I'll have what she's having is maybe the most quotable line
Yeah.
in the history of film. But yeah, so many great quotable lines. Princess Bride. Oh my gosh, the best. We got to go to break. We're way, way late. We're going to come right back here. If I were to say I don't shower much, it's not because I don't. It's because I'm quoting Fletch. Okay, but we have to know these things. Come on. We need the kids to know what we're talking about. We're coming right back. We're talking holiday films, and we're going to get some listener feedback next.
Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from Artisan Works, an industrial art gallery space where eclectic art collections live, creative workshops happen, and communities connect. With memberships available this holiday season, ranging from individual to family. More at artisanworks.net. And George Eastman Museum, welcoming families to the Sweet Creations gingerbread display, a holiday tradition featuring dozens of gingerbread creations, along with decorated wreaths, trees, and mantels throughout the mansion. On view through January 4th, advance tickets at eastman.org.
We're talking about what you love and hate from holiday cinema with 3 cinephiles, and we're having a great conversation here. Dallas emails the program and says, wow. Oh, the timestamp is right when I mentioned I like Love Actually. Thanks, Dallas.
Comment from a guy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dallas. But Rebecca has a vote for Love Actually. She says, I watch it every year. Here's a vote for Love Actually. And White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life. These are the classics. Okay, White Christmas.
Oh, fantastic.
1954. 1954.
This division. Yep.
That's a big Megan Mac favorite. I know that. Megan loves old-timey films, and White Christmas is on that list. What do you love about it?
The music is fantastic. It's Irving Berlin songs throughout, and it's hard to get performers better than Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby. So that film is quotable to me as well, but more in the songs. You know, I've got Sisters coming into my head, or Snow, that 4-part harmony as they're on the train. Yeah.
Have you seen it, Scott Pukas?
I have, but not recently. I don't rewatch a lot.
Not enough
of
to
the
remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what about you, Cielo? White Christmas.
I haven't seen the movie, but I actually just saw a stage production of it up at Niagara-on-the-Lake last weekend.
Oh, how was it?
It was so fun. And that's also something I was thinking about before I came here is like Irving Berlin and the other like songwriters and stuff in the Tin Pan Alley like era of songwriting, like so many Jews wrote like Christmas bangers.
That's so
Like
interesting.
they nail the secular Christmas, which is like the best Christmas. Like that's what is so fun about it. And like Holiday Inn, which is an incredibly similar movie, with also all like Irving Berlin songs. Like I think that's so fun. And like for ages, I thought that Rankin and Bass were Jewish too, but I learned recently like that's never been confirmed. But like I guess maybe there's a lot of Jewish artists involved in all of those like kind of more secular Christmas movies, like Rudolph, which you apparently hated so much.
No, I'm just, eyes open to the anti-disability aspect of it. But
Well,
anyway.
maybe give some of the other ones a try. But I love that aspect of like these like American Jews like forming so much of American pop cultural like standards of what Christmas time is and what it's about. I think it's super awesome.
I love a good old Christmas banger. So that's and Rebecca also says It's a Wonderful Life. Well, of course. Have you seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Of course.
Okay.
Recently, I just watched it again at the Dryden on the big screen for the first time, which was really cool, especially because there's definitely sequences that I had never seen in their entirety before because, like most people, I'd only ever seen it on TV. Like the whole opening where he like works at the pharmacy, I was like, I swear I've never seen all of this before.
Scott
TV
Pocus?
cuts.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. Although I do regret not seeing it on the big screens. I have only watched it on TV, and I'm sure, like we were talking about, there were probably a lot of people at those screenings who were watching for the first time. Even though you're like, it's a classic, probably most people have seen that. There's always people with movie blind spots, so it's cool that they get to go to the Little or the Trident or other spots and watch these for the first time, as they should be seen with a crowd on the big screen.
They should.
Endorsed.
So you had a good time hosting It's a Wonderful Life, huh?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we had 3 shows, and there were more than 400 people that showed up. And you know, if any amount of those, we're in the business in theatrical exhibition about creating memories. It's, you know, we pose these films, but we want you to walk away with something that you remember, whether it's about the film or it's about the experience. And being able to put those on, especially on 35 millimeter, it's wonderful to see audiences respond in that way.
This is a good little segue. What do you got going on at the Dryden that people should know about?
Well, you know, we've been running holiday films since Thanksgiving, so we've run through a few of them. But coming up this week, we've got the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol on Thursday and Saturday afternoon.
1938 film, A Christmas Carol?
Yeah,
Who's in it?
it stars as Ebenezer Scrooge. Reginald Owen, who got his start on stage here in Rochester.
Oh.
So we've.
I'm not even aware of this movie, of this film version of it.
It's MGM sort of big budget attempt at A Christmas Carol. It's not as famous as the British films. So I always try to have a version of the Christmas Carol, whether it's Muppet Christmas Carol or it's Scrooge. I always try to have at least one of those in the rotation during the holidays.
Okay, rank them. Rank the Christmas carols. Scrooge, Muppets.
Muppet Christmas
classic.
Carol, Scrooged.
That's 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a TV version with Patrick Stewart doing a one-man show, which I really like. But then it's probably the 51 with Alistair Sim.
Okay. When can people see the 38 version of the film?
This Thursday and Saturday afternoon. Thursday night, Saturday afternoon.
That's fun. What's going on at the Little that you want people to know?
So it's funny you mentioned the Muppet Christmas Carol. We are showing that at the Little this Friday, December 19th, and the Monday, December 22nd. It's probably my favorite version of Christmas Carol, but I also have to mention, because people have been asking us, in the original theatrical version, there was a song that is not in it. It's called "When Love Is Gone," and it since has been on other versions. So I've gotten a lot of people ask, are you playing the version with that song? And we are. So if anyone is listening, When Love Is Gone is in there. So it's the full version of A Muppet Christmas Carol.
It's not the theatrical version.
No, it's the full version.
It's the
I think
full
what
version.
Disney calls it. We have a lot of stuff. We're also, like I mentioned, we're showing Die Hard 2 on December 20th, which is a Saturday. But the fun thing that we're doing, and we did this last year, is we're doing it as Pie Hard 2. So we're having Crust Pie Company come and do a pop-up. We love our puns at the Little, obviously.
When is that?
Saturday, December 20th. So Crust Pie Company is going to be there. They're going to have pies, Die Hard 2. It'll be festive.
Saturday, December 20th is just Saturday.
Yeah, it's this upcoming Saturday.
It's Saturday.
He's being complete.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's just an indicator of how fast this month is going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it seems further away.
I
I'm
know.
like,
I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second. I think that's like this Saturday. It's 4 days away. So that's fun. A lot of fun there. Got a couple of other notes here. Jen has a vote for Muppet Christmas Movie. Yes. Way to go. One of the best. It's really short. It's like 44 minutes. Mrs. Piggy drives she gets pulled in the most dangerous snow you've ever seen. She should not be driving. Very dangerous for Miss Piggy. She's out shopping on Christmas Eve way too late. And also the Swedish chef nearly kills half the Muppets tries to make them dinner. I'm glad he didn't get away with it. And the only bad thing about that movie is Robin, who is Kermit's nephew, who that was never going to work. Nobody needs more Robin I don't need the Fraggles either, by the way. The Fraggles make an appearance there, and I'm like, no, we don't need Fraggles in the Muppet.
Hot takes.
I told you, I had hot takes here. This is a rare hour where I get to unload my opinions. Are you a fan of the movie? Have you seen Muppet Christmas Movie?
I have not,
Oh,
but
boy, oh,
I'll
boy.
watch the Muppets do anything. So
Yeah, absolutely. So Christmas Carol's one thing. Muppet Christmas Movie, you seen it?
I don't think I have, but I would.
Scott
I love the
Lucas.
Muppets.
It's really good. It is funny. It's really good.
I'm going to make it a double feature with Klaus.
Then I will be there. Now Patrick is referring to what's coming up at the Dryden, the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol. He says 1938, super relatable, guys. I'm sure it's not racist at all. That's from Patrick. Patrick, not everything that's like, not every old movie is racist. There's plenty of racism in old movies for sure. I don't know that. I don't think you can just assume that every old movie is racist. I don't even. Is this one any racism in this one that you can remember?
No, not at all. There's nary a non-white face.
Okay. Boy, oh boy. And I mean, people are sharing all kinds of things I did not know. Holiday Inn is a movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Holiday Inn. When would that come out? When did that come out?
It was 44.
That's Bing Crosby?
Yep.
it's another Irving Berlin one.
Well,
And that one's got blackface in it.
here's
so
an
you
article.
need to go into that
Holiday
carefully.
NPR article on Holiday Inn. The hidden history. Oh, no, there's the hidden history of White Christmas, and then there's Holiday Inn is stuffed with racist stereotypes and an entire blackface number. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Okay. I mean, like, so Jared, what do we do with that? Right? Like, do we watch the TV cut versions? So we just cut those scenes out and try to enjoy the movie, or do we go like, well, you know, it's a different time. What do we do with that?
Well, there's many different ways to approach it. And I think what we would do at the Dryden, if we were going to show it, is contextualize it as a piece of Hollywood's history and our own history. And we need to understand our own history before we can move forward with it. You know, we would have people come in and talk about blackface in general and talk about its history, its placement within this film. But there's a reason we've been sort of avoiding it for years now.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Have you seen that one?
I have
Holiday Inn?
not.
I have
No.
not. Cielo?
Once again, I've only seen a stage production of it at Niagara on the Lake. So
Hopefully no blackface.
definitely no blackface.
No blackface. Niagara on the Lake is so fun, by the way. It's a short little drive over, lovely. Hopefully you're having a fun time when you go over there and see a stage production. Oh, that's great. I mean, you can obviously see great stuff here in Rochester. But no, that's a lot of fun. And the comments keep rolling in on YouTube. Our colleague Chris, I wanted to read Chris. What did he say there? Oh, he was saying that Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas should be considered the best, which I've never seen. No reaction.
No reaction.
I thought that was a big deal. I'm like, that's kind of a classic.
For our age.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal for other groups?
No, I don't know that that's translated as much to younger generations. I bet my kids don't know about it. But it's this is also another thing. Christmas time, TV movies get lumped in with theatrical films, and it gets really sort of a messy in terms of talking about the best films. It was a TV special that was on every year. It was about an hour long with commercials. So.
Okay. We haven't even mentioned Charlie Brown Christmas, which is a classic there. That's fun. Got a tree this year that looks like the Charlie Brown tree. Nice little one. And Chris sends also Nestor the long-eared donkey. Is that a real thing?
That was another Animagic from I think that was from the 70s. But it's
Okay.
they went into all different kinds of Christmas lore.
He says Bad Santa.
Bad Santa,
I've
sure.
never seen Bad Santa. Isn't that Billy Bob Thornton?
It is.
I don't need to see like a drunk Billy Bob Thornton doing bad things in a Santa suit.
You don't think you need it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need it. And our colleague Julie points out two things. Number one, Klaus has a 95% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. If that's your thing, Rotten Tomatoes, because Klaus is great. It should be 100, but that's great. And she says Alan Rickman is the common denominator in movies that are very divisive and possibly Christmas movies, possibly not. So that's Die Hard, of course, and Love Actually.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's very problematic in Love Actually, but that's the plot line. It's a problem. Okay. All right. I mean, this has been so fun. What are you going to watch next? What's on your list this season, Cielo?
I'll offer my hot take and say perhaps one of my favorite Christmas movies that I have to convince people is a Christmas movie, which is Children of Men.
Children of Men. I don't know that. What is it?
It's, I would say, dystopian science fiction. The release date is on my side. It came out Christmas Day. It's a future where, for reasons never said, nobody can make kids anymore. Everyone's infertile. But then somebody's pregnant. So you see the Christmas connection already, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Has a
Semi
classic
25.
one-take shot, too. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Beautiful, yeah.
Oh, so you can endorse that one.
Yeah, I never really thought of it as a Christmas movie, but I would have to go back and revisit it. I really like The Night Before, Seth Rogen, this is probably like 10 years ago. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in it as well. And the Holdovers, is, like I mentioned before, is always one that I love. Paul Giamatti, who won an Oscar for it. I really love that. The lovable curmudgeon trope in a Christmas movie.
Laura writes us to say, wonderful music, quirky, romantic, Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, I do like the music in that, actually. It's fun. It's got to be about 30 years old now, too. So
Yeah.
it's got to be in the 90s. What are you watching next?
I will probably go back and watch 2 films, and I'm going to use this time to reach out to all the listeners and say, if you know of 35 millimeter prints of these 2 films that exist, please let me know, because we'll put them in the program. 2 90s Christmas comedies. One's called All I Want for Christmas, about Ethan Randall, as he was known back then. Ethan Embry is the actor, trying to get his parents back together on Christmas.
Okay.
And then the other is The Ref with Dennis Leary.
Oh, The Ref. That is
Yes.
a Christmas movie.
Of course.
I
And
can
it
quote a lot of that. Kevin Spacey.
Definitely. It features, does not star, one of my coworkers at the George Eastman Museum.
Wow.
Yeah,
The Ref. That was like 93, 94.
that's right.
Okay. Dennis Leary is really fun in that.
It's great.
He kidnaps the whole family on Christmas Eve. Christmas. And Kevin Spacey delivers one of the best put downs I've ever seen to his mother-in-law, or maybe his actual mother. He's brutal to her. It's very funny, but I can't say that on the air. But I'm gonna have to leave that for the listeners
Dump
to
button.
discover. Thank you, everyone. Jared Case from the Dryden Theater at George Eastman Museum. Scott Pukas from the Little Theater. Cielo Ornelas McFarlane. Welcome back here anytime. This was so fun. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, Evan.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Watch something good. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This program is a production of WXXI Public Radio. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of this station, its staff, management, or underwriters. The broadcast is meant for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or use in another medium without expressed written consent of WXXI is strictly prohibited. Connections with Evan Dawson is available as a podcast. Just click on the Connections link at WXXInews.org.